Most people on Earth will never experience true power. Not because they are weak, not because they are unintelligent, but because the modern world is designed in a way where almost every human being is limited by systems they cannot control. Governments control laws, banks control money, corporations control industries. Media controls narratives, and society controls reputation. For the average person, even small decisions can become difficult. A person may want to travel, but lacks money. A person may want freedom, but is trapped in debt. A person may want influence, but nobody listens. A person may want to build something revolutionary, but lacks connections, resources, or access. Then suddenly, people look at someone like Elon Musk, a man who owns companies changing industries, a man who became the richest person on Earth multiple times, a man who launches rockets into space, a man who influences cryptocurrency markets with a single tweet, a man who bought one of the biggest social media platforms in the world, a man who can speak publicly against politicians, governments, journalists, billionaires, and even entire industries without appearing afraid. And eventually, one question begins to form in people's minds. Can Elon Musk do whatever he wants? At first glance, the answer appears obvious. Many people instantly think yes, because from the outside, Elon Musk looks almost unlimited. If he wants a company, he can buy it. If he wants engineers, he can hire them. If he wants attention, the entire internet reacts. If he wants to build a product, investors line up. If he wants influence, millions listen. But reality becomes far more complicated when we deeply analyze what power actually means. Because real power is not simply having money. Real power is the ability to shape reality according to your will, and history repeatedly proves something terrifying. Even the most powerful people on Earth eventually discover limits they cannot escape. Kings discovered this. Emperors discovered this. Military leaders discovered this. Tech billionaires discovered this. Even entire superpowers discovered this. So the real question is not whether Elon Musk is powerful. The real question is this: how much power can one human truly have inside modern civilization before systems begin resisting them? To understand this properly, we must first understand why Elon Musk became different from ordinary billionaires. Because Elon Musk is not powerful only because he is rich. There are many rich people. Some billionaires are almost invisible. Some billionaires own giant industries quietly. Some billionaires avoid public attention entirely. But Elon Musk became something different. He became a symbol, and symbols possess unusual power. Most billionaires simply participate in systems. Elon Musk attempts to reshape systems themselves. That changes everything. When he entered the automotive industry, experts believed electric vehicles would remain niche products. Traditional automakers dominated transportation for generations. Gasoline vehicles controlled the world. Oil industries influenced global economies. Electric cars were often viewed as weak, slow, impractical, and unrealistic. Then Tesla changed public perception. Not slowly, rapidly. Tesla transformed electric vehicles into status symbols, into technological products, into luxury experiences, into cultural trends. Suddenly, governments accelerated electric policies, competitors panicked, entire automotive industries shifted direction. That alone demonstrated something dangerous. Elon Musk was not merely operating inside the future, he was influencing the direction of the future itself. Then came SpaceX. This was even more unbelievable. Space had historically belonged to governments, especially powerful governments. Space programs required extraordinary funding, national infrastructure, military-level engineering, and massive political backing. Private companies rarely entered that world successfully. Yet Elon Musk entered one of the most difficult industries on Earth and forced global space organizations to take him seriously. That changed perceptions again, because now people no longer viewed him as merely a businessman. They began viewing him as someone capable of bending impossible realities. And once society starts believing a person can accomplish impossible things, their influence expands beyond money. Psychological power begins forming. This matters more than most people realize, because civilization itself is partially built on collective belief. People obey currencies because they believe currencies hold value. People obey governments because they believe governments possess authority. People follow leaders because they believe those leaders possess competence. Perception creates power. And Elon Musk mastered modern perception extraordinarily well, especially through the internet, especially through social media, especially through unpredictability. Most corporate leaders speak carefully. Most billionaires avoid controversy. Most executives use highly controlled public relations strategies. Elon Musk often behaves differently. He posts memes. He jokes publicly. He insults critics. He interacts directly with ordinary users online. He makes unpredictable statements. He creates chaos. And strangely, this unpredictability increases attention. The modern internet rewards attention aggressively, not calmness, not moderation, not silence. Attention itself became one of the most valuable resources in human civilization, and Elon Musk learned how to dominate it. This created another level of power. Narrative control. Because in modern society, controlling conversations can become almost as valuable as controlling industries. If millions discuss you daily, your influence expands continuously. Supporters amplify you. Critics amplify you. Media amplifies you. Algorithms amplify you. Eventually, your presence becomes unavoidable. This explains why Elon Musk can influence markets so dramatically. Because markets are not purely mathematical systems. Markets are emotional systems. Humans buy based on fear. Humans sell based on uncertainty. Humans follow confidence. Humans react emotionally to powerful figures. So when Elon Musk publicly supported certain cryptocurrencies, prices exploded. Not because physics changed, not because technology suddenly evolved overnight, but because collective human psychology shifted. This is an extremely important lesson. Many people believe billionaires control the world purely through money. That is incomplete. The highest level of influence often comes from shaping human belief itself, and Elon Musk became one of the greatest belief shapers of the internet era. But now, we arrive at the dangerous part of the discussion. Because whenever one individual accumulates extraordinary influence, systems eventually begin reacting. No civilization allows unlimited power comfortably. Not governments, not corporations, not financial institutions, not political systems, not media structures. Eventually, resistance appears. And Elon Musk has repeatedly experienced this resistance. Many people imagine billionaires as completely free individuals, but reality becomes more complicated once scale increases. The more influence someone gains, the more enemies they naturally create, because every powerful move disrupts somebody else's interests. When Tesla succeeded, traditional automotive industries faced pressure. When SpaceX succeeded, aerospace competitors faced disruption. When Starlink expanded, telecommunications industries faced competition. When he bought Twitter, political narratives and media structures became affected. Every expansion of power creates opposition. This is unavoidable. And this reveals one of the greatest misconceptions about wealth. Money increases options, but money does not eliminate consequences. This distinction is critical. Elon Musk can buy extraordinary things, but he cannot buy absolute immunity from reality. For example, he cannot completely ignore governments. This is one of the biggest limitations billionaires face. Governments possess powers even billionaires must respect. Governments create laws. Governments regulate industries. Governments collect taxes. Governments approve contracts. Governments control military force. Governments can investigate corporations. Governments can block deals. Governments can punish violations. And because Elon Musk operates globally, he interacts with multiple governments simultaneously. American government systems, European regulations, Chinese manufacturing relationships, international space agreements, financial compliance structures. This means his power exists inside larger systems, not above them. And this becomes extremely important to understand, because internet culture sometimes exaggerates billionaire power into something almost supernatural. But no billionaire operates outside civilization entirely. Even the richest individuals remain interconnected with political, economic, and legal systems. In fact, the more powerful a billionaire becomes, the more visible they become to regulators, governments, and competing interests. Visibility itself becomes dangerous. This explains why some billionaires intentionally avoid attention. But Elon Musk chose the opposite strategy: maximum visibility, maximum influence, maximum disruption. And while this strategy created enormous power, it also created enormous vulnerability. Because when millions watch your every move, mistakes become magnified globally. Every tweet becomes analyzed. Every statement becomes controversial. Every decision affects markets. Every conflict becomes international discussion. And suddenly, freedom itself becomes complicated. Ironically, extreme fame can reduce personal freedom, because the more influential someone becomes, the more carefully they must navigate consequences. This creates an interesting paradox. The world sees Elon Musk as one of the freest humans alive, yet enormous systems constantly pressure him from every direction. Investors pressure him, governments pressure him, public opinion pressures him, competitors pressure him, employees pressure him, activists pressure him, media organizations pressure him, even his own companies pressure him to maintain growth continuously. This means Elon Musk does not simply wake up every morning and act without consequences. He operates inside an incredibly complex battlefield of power. And that battlefield never sleeps. Not for one day. Not for 1 hour. Not even for one moment. Because once someone reaches his level of influence, they no longer merely participate in history. They become trapped inside it. And this is where the conversation becomes deeper than money. Because true power often comes with invisible prisons, the average person imagines billionaire life as permanent freedom. But history repeatedly shows that extraordinary power creates extraordinary pressure. Roman emperors experienced this. Kings experienced this. Presidents experienced this. Corporate titans experienced this. And now modern tech billionaires experience it too. The higher someone climbs, the more dangerous falling becomes. This creates fear. Fear of failure, fear of losing influence, fear of losing reputation, fear of losing relevance, fear of losing control. And ironically, people with the most power sometimes become obsessed with maintaining that power, which can slowly transform freedom into constant warfare. This may partially explain Elon Musk's aggressive behavior patterns online and in business. Because when someone builds companies influencing transportation, energy, space, artificial intelligence, communications, robotics, and digital infrastructure simultaneously, pressure reaches extraordinary levels, especially when the world expects near superhuman performance continuously. Eventually, another important question appears. Could Elon Musk actually control the world if he wanted? Many people online discuss this dramatically, but the reality is more complex. Controlling modern civilization is far harder than controlling ancient societies. Ancient empires often depended heavily on centralized military force. Modern civilization is decentralized across governments, corporations, financial systems, technological infrastructures, legal systems, international alliances, and global supply chains. No single individual fully controls all these systems. Not even close. Even the most powerful nations struggle controlling everything. This is why modern power works differently. Influence matters more than total control. Elon Musk influences many systems, but he does not fully dominate them. And that distinction changes everything. Because influence allows pressure. Influence allows negotiation. Influence allows momentum. But influence does not guarantee obedience. This becomes obvious whenever Elon Musk attempts controversial decisions and receives resistance. Sometimes investors react negatively. Sometimes regulators intervene. Sometimes advertisers leave platforms. Sometimes governments reject proposals. Sometimes courts become involved. Sometimes public backlash intensifies. All these moments reveal something important. Even enormous wealth cannot erase friction from reality. And perhaps that is one of the most important lessons humanity must understand during the billionaire era. No human becomes unlimited. Some humans simply gain larger ranges of possible action. But every action still creates reactions, and reactions create limits. Even for Elon Musk, especially for Elon Musk. Because once someone becomes globally influential, the world itself begins pushing back harder. And perhaps the strangest part of all this is that Elon Musk may not even desire unlimited power completely. Because unlimited power carries terrifying responsibility. Every major decision could affect millions. Every technological breakthrough could reshape economies. Every platform change could alter information flows. Every AI advancement could influence civilization's future. At that level, mistakes stop being personal mistakes. They become historical events. And history judges harshly, especially when power becomes concentrated. This is why some people admire Elon Musk deeply. They see innovation. They see ambition. They see courage. They see someone willing to challenge impossible industries. But others fear him, because concentrated influence always creates concern, especially when technology evolves faster than society's ability to regulate it. And this fear is not irrational. Human history repeatedly demonstrates that technology can empower civilization while simultaneously destabilizing it. The printing press changed societies. Industrial machines changed economies. Nuclear weapons changed geopolitics. The internet changed communication. Artificial intelligence may change nearly everything. And Elon Musk stands near the center of several of these transformations simultaneously, which means his influence is historically unusual. But unusual influence still does not equal godlike freedom, because reality itself imposes limits on every human alive. Biology imposes limits. Time imposes limits. Public opinion imposes limits. Politics imposes limits. Economics imposes limits. Competition imposes limits. And eventually, mortality imposes the greatest limit of all. No billionaire escapes that one. No empire escapes that one. No civilization escapes that one. And perhaps that is the ultimate truth hidden underneath all discussions about power. Humans can become extraordinarily influential. Humans can reshape industries. Humans can change history. Humans can build technologies that alter civilization. But no human becomes completely unlimited. Not kings, not presidents, not emperors, not billionaires, and not even Elon Musk. One of the biggest illusions created by modern society is the belief that wealth automatically creates total freedom. From childhood, many people unconsciously develop a simple equation inside their minds. More money equals more freedom. And to a certain extent, this is true. Money can remove many limitations ordinary people face daily. Money can buy time. Money can buy comfort. Money can buy access. Money can buy security. Money can buy influence. But once someone reaches the level of Elon Musk, the game changes completely. Because beyond a certain point, power stops being simple luxury. It becomes geopolitical. It becomes historical. It becomes dangerous. At Elon Musk's level, decisions no longer affect only his personal life. They can influence economies, governments, military strategies, financial markets, technological races, and sometimes even the future direction of civilization itself. This is why understanding Elon Musk requires understanding something deeper than business. He exists at the intersection of technology and power, and throughout history, whoever controlled major technologies usually gained extraordinary influence over humanity. The Industrial Revolution created industrial empires. Oil created geopolitical superpowers. Television shaped public consciousness. The internet transformed communication permanently. Artificial intelligence may become the most powerful technological shift of all, and Elon Musk positioned himself near multiple critical technologies simultaneously. Electric vehicles, space infrastructure, satellite internet, artificial intelligence, robotics, energy systems, digital communication platforms, neural interfaces. This positioning is extremely strategic, because the future is often controlled by whoever controls the infrastructure of the future itself. And Elon Musk understands this very well. Most people only see products, cars, rockets, satellites, apps. But behind all those products lies something far more important: infrastructure control. This matters because civilization depends on infrastructure. Transportation infrastructure controls movement. Communication infrastructure controls information. Energy infrastructure controls productivity. Digital infrastructure controls economies. Space infrastructure may eventually control planetary expansion. Whoever shapes these systems gains massive leverage over the future. This explains why Elon Musk became far more influential than ordinary billionaires who simply own luxury brands or investment portfolios. His companies touch foundational systems, and foundational systems are where true long-term power exists. But now, another important question appears. If Elon Musk possesses so much influence, why can he still fail? Because influence is not the same thing as invincibility. This distinction becomes essential. Many people online speak about billionaires almost like fictional superheroes, but reality is much harsher than internet mythology. Tesla nearly collapsed multiple times. SpaceX nearly failed repeatedly. Massive projects consumed enormous capital. Production problems created chaos. Public controversies damaged reputations. Investors sometimes panicked. Governments sometimes resisted, and competitors continuously adapted. This reveals something fascinating about modern civilization. Even the most powerful innovators remain vulnerable to pressure from reality itself. Physics cannot be negotiated with. Engineering problems cannot be solved through confidence alone. Economic systems cannot be ignored forever. Human psychology remains unpredictable, and public trust can disappear shockingly fast. This is where Elon Musk becomes an extremely interesting case study, because he operates at the edge between extraordinary ambition and extraordinary risk. Some people admire this deeply. Others view it as dangerous recklessness. Both perspectives contain truth, because historically, civilization often advances through people willing to take enormous risks others fear taking. But enormous risks also create enormous potential consequences. For example, imagine if SpaceX completely failed early. The world would likely mock Elon Musk as an arrogant billionaire who wasted fortunes chasing impossible dreams. Instead, SpaceX succeeded, and success changes perception dramatically. History usually celebrates successful risk-takers, while forgetting how close failure once stood beside them. This creates survivorship bias. People see outcomes, but they rarely see how fragile those outcomes truly were. And Elon Musk himself admitted multiple times that some of his companies came dangerously close to collapse. That matters because it destroys another popular myth. The myth that billionaires always control outcomes completely. They do not. They influence probabilities. They increase possibilities. They improve access to resources. But uncertainty still exists. In fact, uncertainty may become even larger at extreme scales. Because the bigger the ambition, the bigger the risks attached to it. This is why many traditional corporations move cautiously. Large systems fear instability. Elon Musk often behaves differently. He moves aggressively, rapidly, sometimes unpredictably. And this creates one of the biggest reasons people remain fascinated by him. He behaves less like a traditional executive and more like someone attempting to force the future forward before society feels ready. Whether people love or hate him, this creates attention, and attention became one of the most powerful currencies of the digital era. The internet transformed fame into leverage. Before the internet, influence depended heavily on institutions, television networks, governments, newspapers, large corporations. Today, one individual with enough attention can influence global conversations directly. This dramatically changed power structures, and Elon Musk mastered this environment extraordinarily well. He understands something many leaders still fail to understand. Modern influence operates psychologically. People no longer simply follow institutions automatically. They follow personalities, narratives, belief systems, emotions, and emotional engagement drives internet dominance. This is partly why Elon Musk constantly trends online. He creates emotional reactions: admiration, anger, excitement, fear, curiosity, controversy. Every reaction generates visibility, and visibility generates power. But this kind of power carries severe instability. Because internet-driven influence can shift rapidly, today's hero can become tomorrow's villain. Public opinion changes quickly. Algorithms amplify conflict aggressively. Media cycles evolve constantly. One mistake can spread globally within minutes. This means Elon Musk's power partially depends on maintaining public relevance continuously. And maintaining relevance at global scale becomes exhausting. Most ordinary people underestimate how psychologically brutal extreme visibility can become. Imagine millions analyzing everything you say. Every word, every gesture, every decision, every mistake, every success, every failure, at that point, life stops feeling normal entirely. Privacy disappears, peace becomes difficult, trust becomes complicated, and eventually, a person may begin living inside permanent pressure. This is another hidden truth about extreme power. Power attracts isolation. The more influential someone becomes, the harder genuine relationships become. People fear you, need things from you, use you, compete against you, admire you excessively, or resent you intensely. Very few interact naturally anymore. This happens to politicians, celebrities, kings, presidents, and billionaires, especially billionaires with enormous visibility. So while ordinary people imagine billionaire life as permanent happiness, reality often becomes psychologically complex. And Elon Musk's public behavior occasionally reveals signs of that complexity. Relentless work patterns, aggressive online conflicts, extreme ambition, continuous expansion into new industries. These patterns may reflect more than business strategy. They may reflect psychological warfare against stagnation itself. Because many ultra-successful individuals become addicted to momentum. Stopping becomes uncomfortable. Slowing down feels dangerous. Building becomes identity. Winning becomes survival. And eventually, ambition transforms into something much larger than money. This explains why many billionaires continue working despite already possessing more wealth than entire nations. The game stops being about survival. It becomes about legacy, history, immortality through achievement. Elon Musk frequently speaks about civilization-scale goals, making humanity multiplanetary, protecting consciousness, advancing AI carefully, expanding technological progress. These are not ordinary business goals. They are civilization-level ambitions. And civilization-level ambitions naturally generate both admiration and fear. Because whenever one person gains enough influence to shape humanity's future direction, people begin asking dangerous questions. Who decides the future? Governments, corporations, scientists, voters, billionaires, artificial intelligence systems? This debate may define the 21st century, especially as technology becomes increasingly powerful. Artificial intelligence alone could reshape labor markets, education systems, warfare, entertainment, economics, and human relationships permanently. And Elon Musk positioned himself directly inside that battlefield too. This is why discussions about him feel larger than ordinary celebrity discussions. He represents something symbolic, the rise of technological elites capable of influencing civilization itself. Some people view this as humanity's greatest opportunity. Others view it as humanity's greatest threat. And honestly, both possibilities may exist simultaneously, because technology itself is neutral. Human intentions determine outcomes. The internet connected billions of people globally, but it also amplified misinformation. Artificial intelligence may solve extraordinary problems, but it may also destabilize societies dramatically. Social media created communication revolutions, but also psychological addiction. Every major technological leap carries both positive and negative consequences, and powerful innovators often stand directly in the middle of that tension. This means Elon Musk cannot simply do whatever he wants without resistance, because every major action collides with competing interests, political interests, economic interests, ideological interests, corporate interests, national interests, public interests, even moral concerns. And as technology becomes more powerful, resistance against concentrated influence becomes stronger too. This is why governments worldwide increasingly focus on regulating technology companies, because modern tech companies influence communication, economies, elections, culture, and public behavior at massive scale, and no government comfortably tolerates losing control over societal influence permanently. This creates a fascinating battle defining modern civilization, the battle between governments and technological power. And Elon Musk stands near the center of that battle repeatedly, sometimes cooperating with governments, sometimes criticizing them, sometimes depending on them, sometimes resisting them, but never fully escaping them. Because no billionaire completely escapes state power. This is one of the biggest realities people misunderstand online. A billionaire may possess extraordinary wealth, but governments still control armies, legal systems, regulations, tax structures, national policies, trade agreements, and physical territory itself. Even giant corporations ultimately depend on stable nations functioning properly. Without infrastructure, supply chains collapse. Without laws, markets destabilize. Without governments, economic systems become chaotic. This means billionaires and governments exist in constant interaction, sometimes cooperative, sometimes competitive, sometimes hostile, but always interconnected. This interconnectedness creates limits on everyone involved. And perhaps this is the final answer to the entire question. Can Elon Musk do whatever he wants? No. But compared to ordinary humans, his range of possible action is extraordinarily large. Larger than almost anyone alive. He can influence industries. He can accelerate technologies. He can move markets. He can shape conversations. He can fund ambitious projects. He can challenge institutions publicly. He can build systems affecting millions of lives, but he still cannot fully escape reality itself. He cannot escape laws forever. He cannot escape economic pressure forever. He cannot escape public reaction forever. He cannot escape technological failure forever. He cannot escape political resistance forever. He cannot escape human limitations forever. And eventually, like every human before him, he cannot escape time itself. That may sound simple, but it is one of the deepest truths about power. Humanity repeatedly forgets. No human becomes a god. Some humans simply gain enough influence to temporarily reshape history, and Elon Musk is undoubtedly one of those humans. Whether history ultimately views him as a visionary genius, a dangerous disruptor, or something in between will depend on how the future unfolds, because history judges differently than the internet. The internet reacts emotionally. History analyzes consequences, and the consequences of technological power may take decades to fully understand, especially when artificial intelligence, robotics, space expansion, and digital infrastructure continue evolving rapidly. Future generations may look back at this era as the beginning of a new technological civilization. And if that happens, Elon Musk will almost certainly remain one of the defining figures of the age. Not because he could do absolutely anything he wanted, but because he possessed enough influence to push humanity toward futures many people once believed impossible. And perhaps that is the closest any human ever comes to real power. Not controlling everything, but changing what humanity believes is possible.